picture this. Tires squealing, smoke rising, the roar of a V6 engine. Next thing you know, you're sliding with a massive grin on your face. We're talking about the Nissan 350Z. Let's get started. So today we're going to be talking about the Nissan 350Z. And today I had to bring a special guest just because he's got a lot to say about it. And he's going to pop in right now. Hey, there he is. What's going on, brother?
Oh, it's going good. Right. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us who you are.
So my name is Carlos Ashleman. I have been drifting since 2020 with my Nissan 350Z. Specifically, the 2008 with the HR. The most amazing motor that I've ever dealt with. I mean, we're talking seriously cool.
And I've been friends with him probably a couple years now, and just hanging out with you and seeing what you do, this man knows how to drift. I have some clips, and we'll put them up, of just me in the passenger seat riding with him, just screaming, hanging out the passenger window.
Isn't it the best
It's
time?
so much fun.
So good.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and dive into the specs on it. We're gonna get into the engine, interior, we're gonna talk about cosmetics, we're gonna get to the nitty and gritty. Kind of give me an overview of the 350Z. What makes it so great?
Like, to me personally, it's a great drift car. You know, everybody, when people think of the 350Z, they think of drift car. They think of the best platform. They think that it is the most affordable, you know, to a point. I mean, you also have your E36s, you have your 240s, but as far as affordability, power, options, and just overall coolness, they are everywhere. Yep. The 350Z is the way to go.
So let's go with the motors. Tell me about these motors.
So the motors, there's 3 different motors that come in the Nissan 350Z. You've got the VQ35DE, which comes in the 03, 04, and 05. In 2005, they actually introduced the Rev Up in the Track Edition, the 6-speed manual transmission. That's where you get your Rev Up motor. In 2006, they all get the Rev Up. And then in 2007 and 2008, that is when you get the mighty HR.
Hoorah! Oh, yeah. What makes it mighty, though?
So what makes it mighty is a total revamp. So with the DE, you get 287 horsepower. You're talking 274 foot-pounds of torque. And when you move up into the Rev Up, you get to 300 horsepower.
Which is a lot for that car.
Yeah, it's a lot. Quite a lot, because the weight of it is around 3,200 pounds roughly, depending on how much fuel you have or how many options you have. If you get the base model, it's going to be lighter weight. If you get the touring model or even the Nismo model, it's going to be heavier because of the extra cool stuff.
Right.
But when you get into the HR, you get to the 306 horsepower, 264 foot-pounds of torque. So a little less torque.
Right.
But still, with that high revving 7,500 RPM rev line,
maintaining.
Oh, come on. Like, you're good to go.
And the body of those things are absolutely gorgeous. So from the factory, it looks good. But on top of that, the type of aftermarket kit that you can get for them, I mean, from rocket body to wide body to, I mean, just different types of bumpers, rear ends, I mean, side skirts. I don't see the same one all the time because there's so many different parts out there for that.
Absolutely. So the aftermarket support on the bodies is just phenomenal. You can make it look like anything.
I know.
And the cool thing about the rear end is that it's so big. It's such a tub.
Yes,
you
got
can
a fat
fit
butt.
The schmeats. Okay, you can put the meaty boys in.
The schmeats.
It is so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you can fit like 11 and a half, 12 inch wide wheels back there, and it just looks superb.
Thicker than a Snicker, girl. And I see so many different headlight combination styles for it. And what's crazy is, as old as the car is, you still can get a plethora of parts for it, and they still make so many different things for it too.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Yeah, aftermarket support is phenomenal with these cars.
So tell me about the interior. Like, I've been in one before, and you know, it seems pretty simple and basic for the stars, but I assume that there's different trim levels as well for them, correct?
Definitely, yeah. So you start off with your base model. You know, you're not gonna have your power seats, you're not gonna have heated, you're not gonna have leather, navigation, or any of that. But what you do get, you're going to get comfortable interior. It's going to be simple and clean, looking really nice. And if you clean it up, I mean, it's going to be impressive no matter what.
What makes Nissan so great about their suspension? I hear great things about it, and you're just telling me about it. So tell us about the suspension on this.
So as far as the stock suspension, when we're talking about that, in the rear you have a damper, and then you have the spring with the bucket that also controls toe.
Cool.
And in the front you have your standard, upper control arm. But on the bottom you have two different lower control arms, one in the front and one in the back.
Right.
And Nissan did that so that when you're turning and having fun in the twisties, you get a little bit more of a dynamic suspension feel, so that you increase traction in the front end.
It's an experience at that point then, right?
Absolutely. It's an experience. Helps with the understeer when you're cornering really tight. And it just creates this like really fun, close relationship with the car while you're driving, because you can just feel everything when you're driving and you're having the best time.
So, and when it comes to suspension, you can always go with coilovers too, but say if you don't want to be a drifty boy, you want to be a stancy boy, or you want to do some air ride, all those options are available as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes Nissan so great, or, the 350Z in general, is just because, like we mentioned before, the amount of aftermarket support.
Absolutely.
It's huge.
It is huge.
Absolutely. And it's not expensive too.
Actually, no.
It is
it's
very
really not.
cheap.
Yeah, it's very cheap. So if you wanted to, say, build a track car of some kind, a time attack, a circuit, or any kind of road car just to have fun in the mountains, you can definitely go with BC BR series coilovers. They're about $1,100.
Yeah.
And you can go with a true coilover setup, but with that comes different modifications. You'll have to get rid of the spring bucket and actually get an adjustable toe arm, as well as camber and traction. You have to do everything together so that you can really dial in that alignment and get the grip that you need.
You'll get the performance you want to.
Sure.
Tell us like your drifting experience as far as the 350Z.
So as far as my drifting experience in a nutshell with my 2008 Nissan 350Z, it has been great. I've loved it the entire time.
Yeah.
So when I started, this was like probably 4 months before. I was really doing some hard research. I was trying to figure out, hey, I want to get into drifting. The reason I wanted to get in was because of my twin brother, Gabriel. He's super into it. I wanted something to do with him, so I decided drifting is it. Dude, I didn't even know at the time how good I was going to be with that car. And I trust it fully. So the modifications that I've done to it, really simple. BCBR coilovers. We've got the Hydro from GK Tech. I've got a GK Tech angle kit. I've got my Corbu seat. I've got my NRG quick release 5-point harness, and a harness bar in the back for the harness, obviously.
Yeah, correct.
But it also creates some stability too. It actually makes the body a little more rigid.
So
that I'm throwing it in, and it feels really great.
That's super cool.
But other than that, it's very simple mods, very simple modifications.
And going back to just the 350Z itself, if you're a person that just wants to get into the car scene, maybe you don't want to get into the drift scene, but just go buy a 350Z for like $4,000, slap some coilovers, wheels, exhaust, have a good time.
Done.
That's
Easy
it.
peasy.
And you're part of the car group.
Yep.
And people will love it and be like, oh, that's sweet. And because they just look good.
Yeah.
They just look great. And you're going to spend less than $7,000.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So the 350Z is just a good sports car all around. I mean, whether you want to get it for the track, whether you want to drift in it, or you just want to look cool and just something sweet, the 350Z is just a great option. It really is. And here's a really, 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 really cool part. Is they're less than $10,000.
Oh yeah.
All day. Even the ones that are like pretty decked out and super nice, I don't see them going past 14.
That's true.
And if you do, you're paying too much.
Yep.
You are. At least we're in the Southeast, so the prices may vary. So yeah, guys, really appreciate you tuning in. We got a lot of things coming for sure. I got a podcast that we're talking about. I mentioned it to Trevor, and I think we're going to finally pull the trigger because I think it's really good and it's going to have some great stuff. It's called RPMs. It stands for Really Pissed Mechanics. So I think that's going to be great. There's a lot to discuss there. But yeah, y'all give Carlos a follow. Well, where can they find you again?
So Instagram, you can follow me at handyman_drift. You can follow me on Snapchat. That's going to be LOS_9013. And you can add me on Facebook, Carlos Ashleman.
Heck,
and if you're interested in Honda Del Sols, you can click the link right here in the middle.
Awesome. And if you're interested in 3 trucks under $10,000, I got a link that's going to be right here in his face. If you want to know more about supercars, I got 5 of them under $35,000. Click this link right here. But hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Wheels and Whiskey. We greatly appreciate it. Where we drive fast and sip slowly. Y'all have a good night.